This student challenges Cliff on the cause of the universe. Watch as they debate this topic.
There's only designers or chance. Those are the only two options.
Only two options I know of. Well, give me a third one.
Right, so there's no possibility, for instance, of like accretion.
Of what?
Accretion.
What does that mean?
So accretion is a process whereby, for instance, like you start with one grain of sand falling, and then a second grain of sand, and then a third grain of sand, and a fourth grain of sand, until eventually what you end up with is a hill, right, or a little mound of sand.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't ever get a mound of sand just by the addition of one single sand, like one single grain.
Yeah.
Right? Accretion is a process whereby things gradually emerge.
Is that not chance?
Is it?
Of course it is.
Chance?
Sure it is. Yeah.
So it's
if he's the
chance.
result of cells just dropping. Wow.
No,
It's
you
an
didn't
amazing
ask
accident.
me how a human being came together. I asked you, were there any other options, and you said I couldn't think of any.
Right,
So
I
I gave
can't.
you one other option.
The issue is then, is there an uncaused cause? Is there an eternal being? Or is the universe eternal?
Those are two different things.
Okay, how?
Why does it have to be a being in the first place? Why is it the case that a first cause is the same thing as a first being?
Okay, what's your option?
That there are just things.
No, cause. What's the cause? What's the first cause?
That there are just things, and they're already in a causal network.
Already in a causal network, which means the universe is eternal. Material, energy, that we see all around us.
And does it need to have always been in that form?
No, but you don't get something from nothing.
And I didn't claim that.
All right, so what's the first cause that you're arguing for?
I'm not arguing that there's a first cause. I'm arguing that substance exists before any kind of causal network.
All right, that substance is eternal.
Yes.
Okay, and that's what the Big Bang blows apart. The
No, it
Big Bang
doesn't.
shows that the universe is not eternal.
You're pointing to a particular
15
cause.
billion years ago, there was a Big Bang. Before the Big Bang, you didn't have anything.
You don't know that.
Well, that's what the evidence is at this point. You're right.
No, that's not what the evidence is at this point. The evidence shows that there was an event. It doesn't say anything about the nature of the substance prior to that event.
Yeah, the universe did not exist before the Big Bang.
The universe, as we experience it, as we describe it, didn't exist before the Big Bang. That does not mean that there wasn't something there that was a substance beforehand. And you already agree with that because you think that the thing there before that was God. So all we've done is we've managed to establish that there was something before what we're talking about. What is it? I don't know.
And I'm just standing here saying that I never see life coming from non-life. That is why it is much more reasonable for me to believe in the beginning a living being, God, created life.